Let's meet our next guest. He is an award-winning actor you know from The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and Snatch, and so much more. It's an honour to welcome the obscenely talented Lennie James to the show. Lennie, I'm so happy that you're here. I've wanted you on the show for so long. I'm thrilled that you're here, but I didn't know this is your first late-night talk show appearance. How are you feeling?
I'm all right. I am going to ask you to be kind to me, but I'm all right. I'm calm. I'm in my own house, so I feel comfortable.
Now, you've been working for years. You've played so many great parts. And obviously, as a writer, I think you're as good as anyone writing television at the moment. How did you get your start in the industry?
I followed a girl into an audition. And I had no real idea what auditioning was, but I really liked this girl, and she was going to spend the whole summer holiday doing this play. So I went down and auditioned, had no idea what to do, and the director gave me a speech to do and told me to sing a song. So I didn't know what song to sing, so I phoned my brother and said, you have to tell me a song that white people might like, because I'm doing this audition. So he told me to sing Des O'Connor, Feelings. And I'm like, all right. There was one of the ladies lived in our neighbourhood, used to sing that song all the time and play it all the time. So I learnt the words and went in and sang it. And the director said, I'm going to give you a part in this play, but don't ever sing that song again. And I'm like, all right.
And it all worked out. But what about writing?
And it all worked out.
What about writing? Because I didn't know that you wrote, actually, until, and we'll talk about Save Me shortly. I didn't know that you had this in you. Where did writing start?
No, I didn't really. I acted in my first play when I was 16. I'm hanging about with a bunch of, friends that you make when you start doing plays, and we start talking about plays, and someone said, you reckon you can write one? And I said, I bet I can. And he said, I bet you can't. And so I wrote one. And then I entered it into the National Youth Theatre playwriting competition, and it won. And won one of the prizes. And I was nominated Most Promising Playwright Under 21. And then unbeknownst to me, one of the judges from that competition was asked to create an anthology for Faber and Faber of new plays. And he put my play up, and I didn't find out about it until they phoned me at home saying, we'd like to check your biog. And I'm like, I got no idea what a biog is, mate. And he goes, it's the thing we put at the back of the book. And I went, what book? And they went, we're publishing your play. And I'm like, oh, right, sweet. So that's kind of how it happened. And I kind of, having done nothing until I was 16, by the time I was 18, I'd been in 2 plays and was a published playwright.
Wow. And I mean, I have to congratulate you, and I've told you, and I basically tell anybody who works on the show or anyone that I meet these days over various Zooms that they have to watch your show. Congratulations on Save Me, and now Save Me Too. For anyone who hasn't caught up with the show yet, it's so good. It's so deserving of all of the praise that it's getting. For anyone who doesn't know, tell them what it's about and who you play.
Save Me is based around a character called Nellie Rowe, who's a kind of, I think in the States they call him a barfly, where back home we just basically call him a functioning alcoholic. And he's that guy in the pub who's there every single time, has got his own place at the bar, probably has his own pint jug behind the bar, and he tells stories of the night before in the pub. And one morning, round at one of Nellie's girlfriends, he's woken up by the police and he's accused of kidnapping his estranged daughter, a daughter he hasn't seen for 10 years and since she was 3 years old. And she's run away from home, telling her mum and stepfather that she's gone to see her dad. And what Nellie finds out is that his child has been groomed and taken away, but whoever groomed her pretending to be him and knows real things about him. So Nellie sets out to A, find his kid, and B, prove his innocence. It's
the most brilliantly made, and the execution of the show is incredible, and it's a really important and timely subject matter, and you deal with it so delicately and brilliantly, just the very topic of child trafficking. Did you know anything? I imagine it's a really difficult thing to research, child trafficking.
Yeah.
What did you draw on before you started writing the show?
It's a weird one, really, because my impetus for writing the show was I just wanted to write a thriller, really, and then when I came up with the basic premise of the idea, I had to I wanted to do justice to the themes. I didn't want to be glib about it. I didn't want to be TV about it. I wanted to see how it would operate in the real world. And basically, the story of Save Me is you're following Nellie's journey to try and find some kind of redemption. He blames himself for the bad parent, the bad father that he's been, that he hasn't been in his daughter's life. And if he had been in her life, then none of this would be happening to her. So when I was doing the research, you have to be very careful about what you put in the search engine in your computer. So I would tend to, when I was doing research, I'd try and find articles that had already been published. So I wasn't looking up general information.
Sure.
I was looking up stories that had kind of come up, and I would kind of incorporate them. And that's the way that I would do my research.
Wow. And I know for a fact, I know before I even ask it, that you must be so bored of this question. Because, I urge anybody watching, so Save Me 2 is out now. But if you haven't caught it, you can go back and watch it'll be 12 episodes, right? Lennie?
It's 12 episodes. In American terms, it's an easy watch.
Yeah, you can watch them all straight through. You can devour it. And have you thought at all about a season 3?
I have, yeah. I've been thinking almost about nothing else, really. Trying to figure out the best way of doing it. I mean, the kind of lockdown and isolation has had an effect on it, because we've got some young actors in Save Me who, I can't stop them aging.
No.
I can't stop them, so I've got to take that into account. And when I place the next season. But we had actually, you're the first person I've told this to. We had a conversation the other day, and I think we've got to a place where we know what we're going to do next time around.
Is this because I just pitched you an idea off the air and you thought it's so good?
It's so good, I'm going to claim it. I'm going to say it's mine. In between you telling it to me and me coming on here, I phoned my agent and gone, oh, I've got a really good idea.
Nothing would make me happier. Nothing would give me more pride.